I don't understand why I spent all this time learning how to write, as well as write in cursive, but just learning how to write so that I can just now not do that with a pen or a pencil, but with my index finger, which no one's ever taught you how to sign anything or write a novel with your index finger. It bothers me so much now that I just sign an X. That's what I do now because I feel like I didn't spend all this time learning as a little kid how to write to now just sign my name with my index finger. It feels like I've taken a giant step evolutionarily backwards. I guess we've thrown away all pencils and paper and we're using just tablets. So kids are now maybe using their index fingers in elementary school, and I think that sucks. Welcome to another episode of Sweaty Nerds. That's me. Could never play it. Rock Band. Flash. Savior of the yeah, Rock Band. We're also going to talk about the Star Wars box set, all 6 movies, only 3 of which that I enjoy, but you can get all 3 of them and tons of special features about Jar Jar and stuff in the box set edition of Star Wars. Still worth it for those original 3. We're also going to cover the big daddy of comic books, X-Men. Yeah, we've got a lot of movies, we've got a lot of animated shows based on X-Men, but nothing beats the original X-Men comic books. We're going to talk about that. We're going to cover all that and more on this week's Sweaty Nerds. Hey, welcome back to Sweaty Special Effects Nerds. I'm Jon Schnepp. Sitting across from me is Cig's sweaty special effects nerd, Neutron. What's going on?
Hey, not much.
Hey, today we are going to talk about Scanners, 1981's amazing David Cronenberg freak fest. What else can be said about Scanners other than it's incredible and it's a great film? I loved it, and I loved Michael Ironside as one of the creepiest weird his face is when he's scanning you. You believe that he's scanning you and trying to blow your head up. Let's talk about the exploding head.
Yeah, that was actually supposed to be the first scene in the movie. But
really?
Yeah, during I think test audiences, it was like, that was way too much to just start the movie off with that. But yeah, who doesn't love an exploding head? Like I said, I mean, there's plenty of ways you could do them with air pressure or pneumatic. I think they might have done this one with pneumatic, like air pressure. But I mean, look, it's probably one of the top exploding heads. I think
Strange enough, I watched a little behind-the-scenes thing on this that they recently released in the Criterion edition of Scanners, and it's basically a shotgun. They used a shotgun. A guy just walked up behind the prosthetic, head cast that was jammed with weird, mucusy animal carcasses, and he just shot it off with a shotgun and exploded the head.
It is awesome.
So it's literally, really a head being exploded by a shotgun.
No wonder, it's so cool.
Not scanner technology, shotgun technology. So what else about Scanners can we talk about?
Well, I mean, the cool veining effect. They actually did like prosthetics where there was a skin over it, and there was little channels, and they actually like pumped water into those channels, so you see the rippling of the veins and stuff. Dick Smith, again, a god among effects artists.
Sure.
So.
And did he also work on those the end sequences where their faces are kind of bladdering up and pulping up?
That's you can use air bladders, and I think in some of them they use water too. So.
Wow. Well, if you've never seen Scanners, that's why we're talking about it. So you will eventually see it. David Cronenberg Scanners. You can get it anywhere. It's out everywhere. Criterion just did an amazing version of it. Cig, where can people find you online?
On Twitter and Instagram at Cig Neutron or at bizarrogogo.com.
Well, guys and gals, I'm Jon Schnepp. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Sweaty Special Effects Nerds, and I'll see you guys in the next segment. Hey, welcome to another episode of Sweaty Video Game Nerds. I'm Jon Schnepp. Over here is Maude Garrett. What's going on?
We're going to get a hell of a lot sweatier now because we are talking about Guitar Hero and Rock Band, those games where you have instruments that you pretend to play.
That's right. And I'm one of those fellas who was horrible at any iteration of any of these games with the guitar and the I can't believe
because you're supposed to be slapping the bass. You're doing it all wrong.
It was I could never. All I could do is hear the mistakes happen. Yeah. The sound of mistakes. I'm successful at that. Pete Townsending that plastic guitar, but you sounds like you had a really good time rocking this.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed with this game still to this very day. Now, I played the drums, so maybe that's the difference with this all, because a lot of actual guitarists find the translation terrible. They pick it up, and there's actually an Australian band called The Living End, and Chris Cheney is one of the best guitarists in Australia, if not the world, and I challenged him and destroyed him.
Wow.
So, and he just was so frustrated by, you know, how it changed over. But the drumming, I find, is a lot more rewarding. It is like playing a kit, and I think just the fact that I can sit down, smash it out without making a huge amount of noise and pissing off my neighbours is rewarding in itself. Now, I don't know who else has played this game the amount I have, but you know you are addicted when you walk out into everyday life after playing and everything just slowly fades up. I've had that so many times, like, whoa, notes. And every time I hear any song that I've played on Expert, yes, boom, I'm dropping that one. I can play the drums on Expert. I can only see the patterns when I'm playing along.
Yeah,
boom.
For me, I don't see the little weird coins coming at me anymore, just simply because I suck at the game.
There's no coins.
Or whatever these little magic nubules are. The glowing nubules.
Just a note.
Nubules of sonic energy.
What I don't get about this game is that it was peaking. Like, Activision was putting out all these expansions. Right. It was on top of the world. Rock Band came out as well to kind of challenge that, because everyone had a kit. It was like the go-to party game that was cool, mind you. And then all of a sudden, boom, it just stopped. No more expansions. And, like, it wasn't selling anymore. I had to buy it off eBay. And then, like, 4 minutes into a song, the disc scratched, and so.
Ooh. Well, I think it just it plateaued and then reached the end of its friendly cliff, just like this episode. Where can we find you, Maude, online?
If you want to look me up on social media and have a chat there, I am at Maude Garrett on Twitter and on Facebook. But I also have a little something called Geek Bomb, where I talk about video games and all the cool geeky things too. That was close. And that's at geekbomb.net, and we're on YouTube too.
She almost said shit.
I almost did one too.
Whoa, poo time. Video games, sweaty nerds. See you later. A lot of people didn't know that both me and Cig have scanning powers.
Worked up a sweat on that one.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, in post we'll add the exploding heads.
Yeah.
I'll see you fuckers later. Hey, welcome back to another Sweaty Sci-Fi Nerds. This is the special Sweaty box set segment. I'm sitting here with Chris Gore, founder of Film Threat. You've seen him on G4. Thanks for being on this special segment, Chris.
Thanks for having me.
Today, we are going to talk about one of your favorite films, series, Star Wars, the entire run, 1 through 6. We got 7 coming up in about a year, but right now, you can check out this movie series, 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, and 6. Let's talk about this.
Well, yeah. Well, first of all, what's interesting is I think this box set is worth picking up, if only because it's going to be a collector's item. Because what I love about it on the box set, right on the front, it says the complete collection.
Right.
It's not complete because there's all these new Star Wars movies coming, but they really did a good job. My favorite stuff that appears on this box set, all of the deleted scenes. I love the deleted scenes. And one of my favorites actually is a montage of scenes from Return of the Jedi of just people in cockpits. And you realize how mundane the acting is with people in cockpits, just shaking their seats going, there's too many of them. They're coming around. And you just see how just sort of like, you know, how crude those effects were at the time. So I love the deleted scenes and the behind the scenes. I mean, the prequels, we would need a whole lot to
400 hours to talk about.
You can find whole videos of people on YouTube.
Just go on YouTube
the prequels.
And there's a lot of people actually. It's crazy because we're a lot older than some of you guys who might be watching the show, so you might have actually experienced Star Wars in the order that Lucas has it now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But we actually saw episode 4, then we saw 5, then we saw 6, and then there was a really long time. And we were like, oh my God, he's going to do 1. And then we all started crying when 1 came out, after we were incredibly disappointed and horrified to realize that it was 2 and 3 that we were hoping that he would maybe be able to fix them. Nothing's really going to be able to fix them. So, I mean, you know, you got that group of people. Either people love 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, or people like 4, 5, and 6, like myself. And where do you stand on that?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the prequels. I wish they would remake them.
That's a very strong possibility, as far as I understand. So? Yeah, I mean, it could happen. So, you know, as far as a box set, I would say check it out. I mean, do yourself a favor. I know they're going to come out with another box set that is going to have the original 4, 5, and 6 without the digital tampering that was done in the late 90s to prepare everyone for the new episode 1 that came out in 99. So, I mean, some of the effects were cool that they redid them and some weren't. So, you know, it's nice that at least when they finally release the original versions, you'll have both versions so you can just watch them in ad infinitum. So, Chris, where can people find you online?
You can find me at chrisgore.com or follow me on Twitter at @ChrisGore.
And check out Star Wars. It's this little film. You might not have ever heard of it. Just watch episode 4, 5, and 6. My favorite being The Empire Strikes Back. I don't know why.
That's everyone's favorite.
Yeah. Well, there's some people who love Return of the Jedi and will argue with you about the Ewoks. I'm just saying. So, all right, I'll see you guys next time on the Sweaty Sci-Fi Nerds. It's a horrible Chewbacca.
That was awful.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Sweaty Comic Book Nerds. I'm Jon Schnepp. Sitting across from me is Comic Book Girl 19.
Hello, guys.
Thanks for being on the show. Today, we're going to talk about the X-Men, our favorite mutants, some of the comic books that you should be picking up, reading, just to get that history, get that knowledge, get that flavor that's available in comic book form. Let's talk about one of your favorite X-Men.
Well, I think for someone who's wanting to get into the modern X-Men and you're looking for a place to start, Grant Morrison's new X-Men run is fantastic. I really, really love Grant Morrison's take on these characters. He made me love Cyclops for the first time, which before I never really understood his character. And in this one, he's having like a psychic affair with Emma. And then I love, particularly within that run, I love Riot at Xavier's, which is all about one of my favorite mutants, Quentin Quire, and him starting this riot at the parent-teacher day, whatever, at Xavier's school. And it's just so great to see that teenage angst and how that manifests when you have superpowers.
Right. And we got to give it up to Frank Quitely. Like,
oh, yeah.
His run, though, you know, you only get like 5 or 6 issues because it takes a while for the guy to... And hey, look, every comic book artist, I got to give it out to them because drawing one page of a comic and then inking it, to be able to do that on a daily basis...
It's
remember,
insane.
that's you have 22 issues. I mean, I'm sorry, 22 pages to do in a month. That's crazy. So you got to hand it out to anybody who can do like 2 or 3 pages. You're crazy. You're a mad monster.
Absolutely.
That's insane. And quietly, you know, people like to wait for your art. You know,
He's worth the wait.
Yeah, I'll wait a couple months, but get on that. Finish some of those comics. You know which ones you're late on. So
Jupiter's Legacy.
Yeah, that's right. Come on, they're already got a trade. So anyway, yeah. But his run with Morrison, incredible, and I love the story of Xavier and his half sister.
Oh yeah,
battling
Cassandra Nova,
and trying to strangle each other in the womb. Some crazy dark stuff
really
the crazy dark stuff that only Grant Morrison can imagine, think of, and then write and then deliver to us so that we can enjoy. Thanks, Grant.
Yeah, so amazing.
Let's talk about another run from X-Men. One of my favorites. It started with the original X-Men, and then when the X-Men were canceled, they were canceled for a while, and they just had a bunch of reruns, and then we got the new X-Men, the all-new, all-different X-Men, which is what we all kind of know of from the movies, is what these all-new X-Men are all based on. It's Wolverine, we got Nightcrawler. Dave Cockrum and Chris Claremont were the guys who created the all-new, all-different X-Men. Claremont left after only about 6 or 7 issues, but he basically branded, he created Colossus, he created Nightcrawler, the looks of them. Then John Byrne came on and kind of defined what the all-new, all-different X-Men really are. With Chris Claremont's writing, John Byrne's artwork, and them co-plotting together, they came up with Alpha Flight. They came up with so many of the greatest stories. The Savage Land story with Kazar. There's certain elements where, like, they're fighting each other inside of a volcano with Magneto. That's one of my all-time favorite stories I've ever seen because it was so tense. It's the first time Magneto's using Wolverine's claws against him. Like, it's so amazing. Like, you don't realize, oh my God, Colossus, you're made of metal. I guess you're going through a wall, you know? I mean, that really showcased Magneto, what an incredible villain, how powerful he is. He could take out all of the X-Men and literally hold them all at bay. And the only person who can get in his mind is Phoenix. So
yeah, well, another Claremont X-Men run that I really appreciate, and this is just when the X-Men are at their soap opera-iest, and that's what I love about the X-Men. Is like it's such a drama. It's a drama about their relationships, and X-Men Inferno from the 80s with Chris Claremont, and then Silvestri was doing a lot of the drawings for that, which I love Silvestri's drawings of the X-Women in the 80s. Oh my gosh, he draws Dazzler better than like anybody I know. Oh my gosh. X-Men Inferno is the best. Jean Grey is dead. Scott Summers meets a girl that looks exactly like Jean, marries her, has a kid with her, gives up being Cyclops, gives up being an X-Men, and then Jean comes back, and then he just immediately leaves his wife and child to go be with Jean, and then she goes bad, and she turns into the Goblin Queen, and it's just, there's all this Ileana Rasputin magic stuff going on with her limbo weird demon shit. It's so much fun. It's just such a fun, ridiculous soap opera story.
Yeah, the X-Men, it's the gift that keeps on giving. It really is. There's so many amazing X-Men stories. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you get enough of comic books that you'll come back and we'll give you more X-Men stories next time. Comic Book Girl 19, where can people find you online?
You can find me on YouTube at Comic Book Girl 19, and also my website is comicbookgirl19.com.
Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Jon Schnepp, and this was another segment of Sweaty Comic Book Nerds. See you next time. Hey, if you're not getting sweaty, you should be getting sweaty right now by clicking on these links: special effects, video games, sci-fi movies, and the comic books. We're providing you links about everything we just talked about in the episode, plus more. So click on those links, get sweaty, get playing, get watching. Let's get sweaty. Let's get sweaty.